Cristiano Ronaldo's final World Cup did not end with a trophy. It did not end with one last miracle. It did not end with the fairy tale finish millions of fans around the world were hoping for. It ended with Ronaldo standing on the pitch, looking around one final time, as Spain celebrated and Portugal's World Cup dream disappeared. And the cruelest part? He already knew this was the end. Before Portugal faced Spain, Cristiano Ronaldo admitted what football fans had been trying not to think about. This was going to be his last World Cup. At 41 years old, after 6 World Cups, after more than 2 decades carrying Portugal on his back, Ronaldo had one final chance to win the only trophy missing from his legendary career. The World Cup. He had won almost everything else. League titles, Champions League titles, Ballon d'Ors, international trophies with Portugal, records that may never be broken. But the World Cup had always escaped him. And in 2026, the story felt different. This wasn't just another tournament. This was Ronaldo's last dance. Every match felt heavier. Every touch felt more emotional. Every camera shot of him felt like football was slowly saying goodbye to one of its biggest icons. And then came Spain. Portugal versus Spain was not just a football match. It was history. It was rivalry. It was Cristiano Ronaldo against one of the countries that had shaped so many chapters of his career. He had destroyed teams in Spain. He had become a global monster in Spain. Some of his greatest nights happened on Spanish soil, against Spanish clubs, in Spanish stadiums. And now, Spain was standing between him and one last World Cup run. For Portugal, the mission was simple: win, survive, and keep Ronaldo's dream alive. For Spain, it was different. They were not there to respect the script. They were there to end it. From the first whistle, you could feel the tension. Portugal knew what was at stake. The players knew this might be the last time they could fight for Ronaldo on a World Cup stage. But Spain looked calm. Too calm. They moved the ball with patience. They controlled the rhythm. They did not panic. They did not play the occasion. They played the game. And that is what made it dangerous. Because emotional teams can rise for big moments. But calm teams can kill them. Ronaldo tried to find space. He waited for crosses. He looked for that one chance. That one header. That one moment where the entire stadium would explode and the story would suddenly become his again. Because we have seen it before. We have seen Ronaldo look finished, only to appear at the perfect second. We have seen him silent for 80 minutes, then score when everyone is watching. We have seen him turn pressure into fuel. That is why nobody could relax. Not Portugal fans. Not Spain fans. Not even neutral fans watching around the world. Because as long as Ronaldo was on the pitch, the fairy tale was still alive. But this time, the chance never truly came. Spain kept him quiet. Portugal pushed, but they could not break through. And as the minutes passed, the feeling started to change. At first, it felt like Ronaldo was waiting for his moment. Then slowly, painfully, it started to feel like the moment was slipping away from him. The match was tight. The score was still level. One goal could change everything. One mistake. One cross. One rebound. One Ronaldo finish. That was all Portugal needed. But football does not always give legends the ending they deserve. Sometimes, it gives them the ending that hurts them most. Late in the match, when Portugal were still fighting to survive, Spain found the moment. Mikel Merino arrived. One chance. One finish. One goal. And just like that, Ronaldo's final World Cup dream was broken. Spain were ahead. Portugal were stunned. And Ronaldo was running out of time. That is the brutal thing about knockout football. You do not get another week to fix it. You do not get a second match. You do not get to say, "We were close." When the final whistle comes, the story is over. Portugal tried to respond, but the energy had changed. Spain could feel it. Portugal could feel it. And Ronaldo could feel it too. The man who had spent his entire career fighting against time was suddenly trapped by it. Every second was disappearing. Every attack felt desperate. Every clearance from Spain felt like another piece of Ronaldo's World Cup career being taken away. And then it happened. The final whistle. Spain won. Portugal 0. Ronaldo out. For Spain, it was celebration. For Portugal, it was heartbreak. But for football, it was something bigger. It was the end of an era. Because Cristiano Ronaldo was not just another player leaving a tournament. This was one of the most important figures in football history walking away from the World Cup forever. Think about how long this journey has been. In 2006, Ronaldo was young, explosive, fearless, and still becoming the player the world would later worship. Back then, He was the future. Now, in 2026, he was the last piece of a disappearing generation. 20 years of World Cups, 20 years of pressure, 20 years of expectations. And through all of it, Ronaldo kept coming back. Germany 2006, South Africa 2010, Brazil 2014, Russia 2018, Qatar 2022, and finally, North America 2026. 6 World Cups, 6 different versions of Cristiano Ronaldo, the young winger, the superstar, the captain, the record breaker, the veteran, and finally, the legend trying to write one last chapter. But the World Cup never gave him the ending he wanted. That is what makes this so emotional. Because Ronaldo's career is almost impossible to criticize. He changed football. He changed what people thought was possible for an athlete. He made consistency look normal. He made obsession look beautiful. He scored in massive finals, carried clubs, carried his country, and built a legacy that will live forever. But even for Ronaldo, the World Cup remained unfinished business. And now, it will stay that way. That is why this defeat hurts differently. It is not just Portugal losing to Spain. It is Ronaldo losing his last chance. His last World Cup knockout night. His last walk through that tunnel. His last chance to stand on the biggest stage in football and lift the one trophy that would have completed everything. And maybe that is why so many fans felt emotional watching him. Because even if you do not support Portugal, even if you prefer Messi, even if you spent years arguing against Ronaldo, you still understand what this moment means. Football is moving on. The players we grew up watching are disappearing one by one. The era that defined millions of fans is ending. And Ronaldo was one of the last giants still standing. For years, he made people believe that age was just a number. At 35, people said he was finished. He kept scoring. At 38, they said his time was over. He kept going. At 41, he was still standing at a World Cup, still fighting, still carrying the same hunger that made him famous in the first place. But this time, hunger was not enough. Spain were better on the night. They were cleaner, sharper, colder, and they did what great teams do. They killed the dream before the dream could turn into magic. Now the debate will start. Some will say Ronaldo stayed too long.